It's the Jack
and Cathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah,
Okay, I think if yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
We're 12 days behind on our podcast.
that's all right.
Way to stick to the New Year's
Nobody would
resolution.
know unless you
Just told
tell them.
Oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
believe we're on time with our podcast.
Exactly. Because none of these have been released, so nobody's going to know.
And no one's going to listen anyway.
That's right.
Thanks,
exactly.
Mom.
So what are you worried about?
How are you? I haven't seen you all week.
Stop it.
Oh.
We've been joined at the hip.
You said to me the other day after we had been together, I think it was 70,000 hours in a row. Do we spend too much time together? And it sounded exactly
That's
like that.
because you were needling me. Like we were, I gave the equivalent of being siblings in a long car ride next to each other.
And what story did I tell you?
And then you just to entertain yourself, start like
No,
poking
I
somebody.
did my air is free thing.
Yes, you demonstrated what you used to do to your sister.
Air is free.
And how
You can get
she
right
would
up to touching
complain
someone.
that
That's right.
you were touching her, and you would say, "No, I'm not, because air is free. Air is free."
It is so fucking annoying, isn't it? Not for children, this language. by the way.
Yes, yes. I
So
know.
we had an interesting week since our last broadcast,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a tense moment between us.
Well, you tell the story.
Nope. Because
No.
you were the one, listen to this, no, you. No, you do it. Jack! Can you do your voice when you get...
Jack. That's not me.
That's so you.
Yeah. Everybody just turned the volume down.
Yeah.
Tho-
You
those
just blew out the speakers or the one person who's listening.
Yes, our parents that are listening, and maybe our children just turn the volume down.
So the last episode we had, we talked about how we're embarking on something a little challenging for any couple, particularly one that's 7 months old. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we just celebrated our 7th-month anniversary. Right? Oh, so cute.
Carry on.
And so we decided to put a bid on a house, and then did a little bit more. So it's just a stressful thing if you've been married and great relationship for X number of years, but for us
Yeah.
to take this on at 7 months, forget whatever outside people are thinking about it, right? Who cares about them? But we put a bid on a house and then went to look at it. Because we were trying to just secure something, and too long to get into, but suffice it to say, the house came to us through some connections. So
Yes,
it wasn't through
had an
normal channels.
opportunity to get in first with this little house, and it seemed like there could be a formula there that made it a good investment property.
Right.
And long story short on that, the closer we looked at it, we decided we were overpaying by at least $20,000,
Right.
if not a little bit more, because anyway, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, and it was kind of tense to understand where the other person was coming from, and
You've always wanted to go. You said after the last broadcast that we did that that's so sweet. You're holding my hand.
Yes.
You're afraid I'm going to say something mean.
I'm just going to squeeze the shit out of your hand if you say something I don't like.
See, you're holding my hand. How cute is that? You
Okay.
had said we really got to go deeper and really show people what we're doing and the challenges, and so you wanted to go deep into the pool. So
Was I drinking a glass
don't
of
know.
wine at the
Probably.
time? Maybe I
Well,
get.
go deep in.
I have really great ideas when I have a glass of wine. Well, it was really a moment where I felt like before we decided to cut ties with this deal and walk away, both of us came to that conclusion eventually. But in the middle there somewhere, you lost faith in this deal. You thought that, I forget what it was that you said.
early on, I said I've got a bad feeling about. I
Yes.
don't really want to get too far into this in case anyone else watches.
Okay.
Right, but I said I had a bad feeling about this person, and it ended up being
What?
semi-right.
Oh, I still don't think
Right.
so, but that wasn't really the point.
What?
It was that I
You were
was
very-
upset
Right,
I got upset.
I was stealing your thunder.
Because it felt like you were looking for the negative things. And I do tend to be, and you're a very positive person as well, but there are moments where I think the sky is falling and I'm always, I don't know, I try to stay optimistic, but also realistic. You know, I'm not going to make up information just so I can stay happy. But it was a contentious thing for a minute because I was upset that I felt that, and I did not understand what felt like negativity to me. Like you were just, I don't know.
And then
Do
I
you want to
shut
explain
down.
it better? Yeah. And
No,
then you
it
shut
was simple.
down.
We were
Yeah.
talking about it. I got a bad feeling about one of the participants. This participant ended up being, in my opinion, not everything that I thought they were going to be. Right. And while the circumstance may not have been as maybe perhaps as bad as my gut was telling me,
Yeah.
the one person still showed up the way I went, yep, kind of figured they'd act that way. And our negotiation styles are very, very different. And it could be, I hate saying this, but it could be just our genders could play a role in this, our backgrounds, so many other factors, and we're not going to analyze us that way. Like, where is that coming from? Why did I act that way? Why did you act the way you did? We just acted differently. And at one point I was essentially going, cut them the fuck off. We're out. Done with this shit.
Yeah.
And not that you were clinging to the idea of getting the house for more money than it was worth, because we both agreed on that. I think early on I went, I got a bad feeling about this. And your reaction right away was, okay, you've really pissed me off, essentially, right? You brought me down, you put this weight on my shoulders. And I was even just trying to say, I just got a bad feeling about this. And then it caused us, no? You give me a look like I didn't remember it the same way, but it caused us to not be able to communicate for a while, and it challenged us.
Yeah, we recovered, and we're,
you don't want to talk about the challenge, do you?
Well, I think we see it a little bit differently.
Of course we do.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to have to agree that we see it differently, and
Exactly, and that's okay.
and respect where the other person's coming from. And I can recognize in myself that that I'm very sensitive, so I can, you know, I can probably sometimes hear something and read into it another way. And
Right.
maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not, but I have to recognize that sometimes I
right.
do that.
And I can be so unemotional, right? For me, everything just becomes a deal. And so when I was saying, I got a bad feeling about this, it was me processing like a left-right numbers thing, positive and negative. And it just threw so much cold water.
It did.
Because you were excited about the prospect.
Yes.
And it wasn't as though we could argue there were so many factors, but there really wasn't. I just didn't feel that the deal was going to go in our direction. And we did a really good job of it. Not at first. It took us a good 8 hours.
It did. Because wrapped into that also was that other meeting we had with a new buyer, because I'm a realtor. So we met with this new buyer, and you also married into that bad feeling about that other investment deal for us, had a bad feeling that meeting with the buyer was bad.
I think I was just carrying over, right? I was looking for so many different signs.
Everything is bad? What?
Yeah. And for me, and that's what Cathy, and that's what you and I learned now, is that it's never quite as bad as I'm coming off, and I have to be aware that it can come off like I'm really bad, right? I mean,
do you think maybe that you had that I don't know, maybe a negative perspective because you get scared that it won't work out? Do you think it's almost like a defense mechanism that you just want to cut to the end where it hurts and then get it over with and move on?
I think it's really a style thing between you and I. Because I was learning to watch your style of maneuvering, and having run my own business for a number of years, I sell very differently than you do. And I was letting go of that, and that's why I was getting a bad feeling. It was more that I wasn't in control, that I wasn't really navigating the dialogue, and so to let you take over was tough for me. That's really what it was. That was the second one.
Interesting. That's kind of the first you
Yeah,
spoke of it in that way.
Yeah, the second one was a little bit, I couldn't get into a groove because I was letting you do your thing. And the real estate stuff, I'm not a fan of it. So that's the other thing. I've sold homes, but I've done it all by myself. I've never worked through agents, or rarely have. And so that's another challenge for me, right? And I know that's not fair to you. The first deal was not that at all. That was I didn't like the way the dialogue was going. And that's why when it started progressing toward that direction, that's when I went even more, we're done with these people, right? And having said that, respectfully understand they had an emotional situation they were dealing with too. It's just I think I'm much more willing to go, hey, let's just cut ties. We got to go.
Yeah. And I was willing to cut ties, but I just needed a little more information from the situation before I got to that point. I didn't feel like it was to the point where it's just like, oh, fuck it, we're done with this. And I got frustrated that's
where I got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had more of a process to get to that point.
And I think and we've talked about this. I have a sense sometimes, and I'm just going to race there and get done, and move on to the next thing. Right. Remember when we talked about how I said, I'm so used to not relying on anyone coming through that I just keep churning for that next opportunity until someone actually signs a deal. Then I get attached. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then where I thought you wanted this deep end, right?
Okay.
Where I thought we actually recovered really well was when we were looking at another home that we thought maybe we'll put a bid on.
Yeah.
Overpriced considerably. Only it had some investment opportunity for us. So it was a little bit different dynamic. It wasn't a house that we're going to buy, fix up.
The duplex? Yeah.
And so what I learned, and I don't know if you sensed this at all, but we talked about it. What I learned in that process was I just went right to it. Do you think this is worth it or not? So I leaned into trust more because I'm so used to doing things by myself. So are you. I leaned into trust more, and you went, I don't think it's a good deal. And I went, done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you sped up your conversation with me. You got there faster, which helps me.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to trust your decision.
Yeah.
Is that fair how that went down?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say so. It became very clear very quickly that in order to get that duplex, we'd have to overpay. And I'm not a fan of overpaying.
Right, I know.
That's not how I like to start our investment journey
well,
together.
I think
overpaying.
What we realized and forgot along the way, because this is new for us, right?
It is. It's
everything.
New territory. I know.
When we were done, we cried a little bit about it, right? So we didn't like how
you cried more.
Whatever.
Stop.
I don't even know what I was going to say now. Oh, what we got to, I thought, was after we sat there and said we didn't like how we both felt. Right. That's what I thought was really cool. It wasn't, I'm going to stick to my guns or whatever the saying is, right? Or I'm going to dig in. We both said we didn't like how this felt. And then we remember what we said at all?
No.
What's the priority?
Well, yeah.
Right. We said we are.
Yep.
We're the priority. And so we got caught up in the deal. Right.
Leading with us.
So everything's got to be us. And ever since then, it seems like everything's flowed. And
I tried to get everything Cathy passed.
It is that.
Through,
that's what us means.
But I settled on us.
Us means you. Right?
You did pick that up.
I did. Us means you.
Thank you.
That's why I'm so smart.
You are.
I just thought you wanted to go deep into the pool, so I figured I'd bring that up today.
I appreciate that. That was definitely a learning curve, and even discussing, even though none of those deals went through, what we also talked about with a business adventure together is actually drawing up a contract, like a loose contract. Right. So we divine very clearly, and it's interesting to go that direction and have a conversation like that takes all the romance out of the situation, right? Because in my mind we're like the next HGTV stars,
right?
And
exactly.
But the truth is we want to make sure we protect our investment, we protect our relationship, and protect, or just manage the expectations when you go into a situation
I want to believe that we'll take care of one another, and even if the world says you guys are done, we'll still be kind. For me, it's also about the kids. I mean, what happens if something happens to me?
Right.
Right. And I know I can trust you to make sure that the assets are split. You're winking, right? For those who are not watching. Beautiful relationship.
It is.
Okay, it's recording it. We had a power outage.
We did. Technical difficulties, but we'll
it's
be
fixed.
back.
I think we're good.
Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you?
You had your leg up here. What nobody knows when you're watching the video, you can't see this right down here. Our hands are touching each other all the time, right?
Yeah,
We're constantly touching. We're holding hands. We're doing this kind of lovey shit. You got your leg on top of mine, mostly because we have to be close.
We do.
Not because we like one another. But we do.
You're all right.
You're beautiful.
You'll do.
I think I'll do okay.
In a pinch, you'll do.
Okay, in a pinch.
All right.
So, all right. So we brought up the house stuff, which was good, and I'm glad we resolved it. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cathy
Back
equals
at ya.
us.
Yep.
Got that. And then, okay, so we were about 10 minutes into the show. And then we had a really cool experience with your neighbors, right? I should not say that?
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah. Some wonderful
awesome.
neighbors / friends went over there. They just bought a house. So we went over there to say congratulations and brought over a bottle of wine. And we were sitting and talking. And they were asking us our story because they knew that we had just met and we were 7 months in and what's our story. And it was interesting because he spoke of, Neville spoke of that, he believes that the success of a relationship really has to do with compatibility.
Yeah, not chemistry.
And that was such, I think I agree. I mean, I think you have to have chemistry as well, but, I think both of us have probably had relationships where there was only chemistry.
Right.
And the compatibility when you got into real life wasn't there. And then you end up struggling against what it was you felt in the chemistry arena and trying to...
Because you're wondering why, God, everything feels so right, but something's not working, right? Like why do you grind a little bit?
Yeah.
And it was really interesting how he said, it's not even just a matter of being friends, right? It wasn't, he wasn't getting at that as an equation. It was really enjoying the other person so much and watching them grow, having the relationship grow, the you, me, us stuff.
Yeah.
That we talk about a lot. And so it was just, there were 2 instances this weekend. So we met with them on Friday. Mm-hmm. And then we met with one of your friends on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep.
That's right. But prior to that, a couple of things I want to give you a compliment on. It's going to make me look like a complete horse's ass all the time on this show.
I won't stop you.
For as
right
extroverted
ahead.
as I am, for the music stuff that I do, getting on stage, all for work, all that stuff, I much prefer just to be inside with you and watching TV.
Okay.
Right? Or that. For me, it's... that. And
which is a little surprising because you are such an extroverted personality and you're a big personality and your energy is high and your creativity is high. And you are very social. So in a way, in my mind, it contradicted that you...
Because you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
But
go ahead. You tell it then.
No,
you know where we're going.
No, go.
Okay.
Go.
I didn't want to go.
Yeah, you didn't want to go.
You had said they want to come see us and hang out. And I went, do we have to do this? I don't know them. That's how I am with most of those things, though, right? I'd rather just sit with you or go out with just friends that I already have that I've had for years, right? And so I thought the coolest thing that happened was after the party, or whatever we want to call that, after being with them. So we don't have to go into the detail. Suffice it to say, it turned out great, right?
Yeah.
Him and I played guitar together.
Oh, yeah. On
right?
Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all things that were awesome. Mm-hmm. And so what I found most interesting was that afterward, the first thing I said was, okay, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then you said, that wasn't so bad, was it? That was fun. Thank you for being there for me. I was really proud to be with you. Mm-hmm. You could have said it 10,000 other ways. You could have been vindictive. Now, was that so bad?
Yeah.
See, why do you have to get upset? It didn't. You could have gone so many judgment routes. Instead, you just said, thank you. Because you knew that that's something I'm not comfortable with. As much as I can be on stage in front of hundreds of people playing guitar, after a show would rather sit in a green room, right? And not talk to anybody or just have friends around. So that's why I told you and I thanked you. I complimented you for taking the angle you took. So that's a lesson to anyone out there right now. Mm-hmm. If someone says to you, I'm uncomfortable about this, when we were watching, we'll get into this later, we were watching that TV show, what was I yelling at the screen?
Oh, the Love is Blind
right,
TV show.
validate her,
Right.
or him rather. When I kept saying
Right, right.
validate him,
Right, right.
and you did. I thought it may not have been as direct as maybe people think, but I thought it was awesome how you said, "Hey, thank you." So I love that.
No, I really appreciated you trusting me because I knew you would get along energetically and I knew there would be compatibility with these people and you didn't know them and you had your trepidation and but you trusted me and I really, really appreciated that.
I know you did, and I thanked you.
Because
so
I
awesome.
was right.
You were right because you are always
I was right.
right. That's the song I always sing. You're right.
Oh, I love that song. It's my favorite.
It's not mine.
It is.
However,
now.
I
It's
will
your-
write. You
your
know, I'm going to write a
personal
song called "You're
anthem.
Right." And then we were at your friend's house and had a marvelous conversation with them too, where they had it just to summarize. They just said it's great just to find that person that you can. My favorite part was when she said, "It's unrealistic to think you're always going to get along."
Right.
And that to me is I think that's the beauty of our relationship because we don't always get along. And that
don't.
sounds like we fight,
But we get
that's
along most of the time.
almost 95%.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
we don't, it doesn't last.
Yeah.
We can both feel it in one another.
Well, we learned a lot fast. We had some issues early on in our even young relationship of 7 months. It sounds so ridiculous as if we've been together for like 47 years, but
Well, and the point
but
is,
we just have learned a lot. I think we had some snafus early on that got us hung up for a while and felt really tenuous.
Yep.
But we both came down from that and said, listen, I want to learn. I want to be better. I want this to work.
yeah, we weren't, I hate saying this, it sounds awful.
Uh-oh.
We have great chemistry between us. We weren't founded on that though. Our first date ever, the foundation of it was really getting to know one another. And while there was a spark there for sure,
There was some chemistry for sure, but not that we did much
I know,
about
but it wasn't right. We weren't jumping in the sack together, and it wasn't all that. It felt different. And I think you agree with that too. And that's why we keep saying, and we've made it more of a pact lately than anything about who's the priority, right?
Yeah.
That we have to make each other a priority. And so that doesn't mean, well, it does mean you're always going to win. But you know what I mean,
You're
right?
a quick learner.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm just kidding.
I just thought the whole weekend was a nice culmination of everything because
It was.
we went through a struggle moment. We had this relatively simple and perhaps profound moment with friends of yours from the building, and then kind of wrapped it all up with the brunch we had on Sunday, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Where it was conversations about us and what's important, and
Yeah.
and felt even more that we're doing it right.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this podcast, right? We want people to watch us. I don't really want to have a fight on air or something like that so people see us resolving things, but we can talk about what we worked on, right?
Right. Exactly.
And then we end up watching a show on Netflix called Love is Blind.
Oh my gosh, that show. What a trip.
And this is the first time you've seen it because I watched it.
Yeah, it's season 2 and
One of my favorite scenes, and you and I did it. So can we do it together? Can we do
what
the scene
was it?
together? Shane and Shayna. Can we do it together?
I can't remember it.
I'll
now.
do it. You're
Okay,
going to
start.
get it right away. right?
Okay.
Okay. So all right. So we we talk about a lot of stuff, and I really want to go I want to go deep now. And I want to get to know you a little bit better. So real quick, what are you wearing?
I have this crop top on.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Do you love crop tops?
Oh, dude.
I know.
Love crop tops. That was them going to the deep end of the pool. And you and I
Yikes.
spend hours watching this stuff.
We did. And when
Yeah.
it comes out again, I'm going to watch it again.
And then,
sure.
and then I'm yelling at the TV going, validate him.
Yep.
He just wants to be validated. So if you want good relationship advice, I'm not sure that's the show to watch. Right?
I agree. It was interesting. I mean, the concept of getting to know each other in a way that has nothing to do with looks or body image or anything, But it's interesting that when they do come together in person after all of that, they fall right back into
The physical part.
that physical, that I don't know, like they lost the core of how they grew to like each other in that other situation.
Don't you think it has to be both, though?
Yes, I think
I
both
don't-
have to be there. But if I had to, rank one before the other, I would definitely put that compatibility component above the chemistry. But it can't be that chemistry is not there at all. I can't.
Well,
I can't imagine.
You have to have some of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this because I mentioned it before. Well, we've watched some of Bella Gandhi's stuff. We've talked about, right, that Chicago matchmaker.
Oh,
lady, right?
you know that better than I do.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Yeah.
And I've shared this with you before. She, and I'm totally paraphrasing and probably botching how she describes it. She asks women to write down their top qualities, and tall pops first, followed by, I think, has more money than me or something like that. And then
Isn't that interesting?
men pick physical attraction. But then when you ask the person, what are the qualities of your friends or family that you look for? No one mentions height or those other things.
Right.
I don't think you can discount the physical attraction part. And some people may be more attracted than to others, right? We can't define who likes certain hair color, or eye color, or height, or those kinds of things. There is something to be said though about this compatibility piece. I mean, you and I have dated a ton. We've had different relationships prior to meeting one another, and it's never been this. I don't want to say easy because I don't think that's fair. It's never been this real. For me, it feels just real. It feels normal. I can be myself.
Yep.
You know, clearly I'm myself too often sometimes. You seem to accept it. You haven't left yet.
Nope.
So that's what I just appreciate about this whole dialogue we've been having. And you watch a show like Love is Blind, and I think there's something to be said about getting to know someone. I think it's hard to ignore whether or not you feel drawn to them physically too, right?
Yeah. Almost like if they added another layer to that show, like before they do all this, will you marry me engagement, because that puts you in a very unnatural vice
It is.
of expectation, and you are squeezed against all that. And then I can't imagine the whole production of the show itself, the cameras and the people and I don't
It's
know.
designed to be a reality show, right?
I guess I should stop applying all kinds of logic to it,
It's
for
not gonna
goodness
work.
sakes. No.
All right. We are about 20 minutes in, 25.
Okay. You want to shift to your favorite paired of the day?
I like
The
the paired
paired
stuff.
app?
You are
Okay.
89 questions behind.
That might be true.
So I want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
This paired question came up about
Explain
mornings.
to the peoples what paired is.
Paired
again.
is an app, and we actually pay the premium for it, where there's a series of questions that you and your partner can answer, and you don't know what the other person's answering. So some are just text answers, right? Like what's a relative that's your favorite go-to, and then we each share who that is, and it tends to be someone we would have guessed anyway.
Yeah.
Then every once in a while they have quizzes.
Yeah.
And so
Like a
5-question
series of
quiz.
10, I think 5.
This is 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
5.
And then
okay.
you answer it for yourself. And then
Yep.
you also try to answer how your partner is going to answer
Yeah.
those same exact questions to see how well you know them. And you tend to
Right.
know me better. You tend to get those right all the time. I'm often wrong. I always guess wrong on what you want or need. But this one I like the most is called Rise and Shine. And it was questions about how you start your morning and your day. And you and I, would you say we're very different? Or kind of sort of really different?
I think the morning routine is pretty different.
Yes.
And I wish I was more like you. For sure.
I wish I could sleep in like you.
I sleep in. I sleep until like 6:30.
Wow. The
7.
reaction. Do you really think
You
you
act
sleep
like-
until 6:30?
Okay, everyone. I don't sleep in till like 10, 11, 12.
For me,
When he says sleep in, he means
7.
until 7 a.m.
Right.
And this morning it was 6:15 or something. I slept
was
until.
and I was up
But
at
you were up.
4:45.
Yes.
Wide awake.
Yeah.
Reading the paper. Right.
Yeah. So this is a series of 5 questions that is more about our morning routine. And so our we got the first question right. Like, what kind of alarm do you like? I don't need a blaring alarm. I don't need anything like jolting me into the day that gives me a fucking heart attack because I can't stand that. Just like a little like tap on the shoulder, Kath, and then I'm like, yes,
right.
That's a beautiful way to start the day.
Right, and me.
And
Van Halen right out of the box.
Oh God,
I would listen to it right away.
No, you.
Well, that's what I said. My favorite song.
Okay, favorite song.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said you would like to wake up to the sounds of nature, and
Yes.
I would wake up to
a song.
Yeah.
Yes.
An energetic song.
So we did guess that one right. Yes. First thing your partner checks on their phone in the morning. I knew you checked the news, and
I thought you would check social media.
I don't open social media. I probably do check my text messages, and
you check work stuff right away.
I will peek at emails first.
I don't like starting work right away.
But then TikTok's right after it.
Right, okay.
No lie.
And there we go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Next one.
Yeah. All right.
We are both. This is where I'm so glad we're the same person.
What's the most important way to prepare the day? Yeah, make the bed. We both love to make the bed.
I have been. Yeah. You and I am so glad that that's your thing.
I love that.
There is a hilarious picture that I took of you. Remember this?
Yes. And
I got to see if Key can post this. So I'm going to leave a little bit of room here, and I'm going to send Key the picture when we're done talking. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to say, oh, yep, there it is. There's the picture. So do you want to describe it?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So I was obviously the one still in bed, and he decided it was time to make the bed, regardless of my corpse still being in the bed. And proceeded to pile on all the decorative pillows this man owns onto the bed, and my little head was barely visible.
So I took a picture of you, and I sent it to a bunch of friends, and they all want to know why I was taking a picture of my bed. And I said, keep looking, and all you see are 2 eyes like, where's Waldo?
Yep.
Hiding behind the pillows.
It was pretty
funny. So yeah, we both agree that, but you have to admit that's true.
Yeah.
Make your bed. You feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then every time you go in that room, it's neat and clean.
Okay,
good way to start the day. Okay. If your partner had the morning off, what would they prefer to do? And I know that you would work out.
Yeah.
I like a slower morning, even though I pretend that want to be you when I grow up and get that workout done in the morning. When I go to bed at night, I'm like, okay, Kathy, you're going to work out in the morning. Yes, you're going to do it tomorrow. And I just like to wake up, and I like quiet, and I like my warm drink.
Do you know why that works for me though? So you know why that works for me, babe?
What?
You know that works for me though.
I know.
Because on Sundays, we haven't had the weather yet to do these kinds of things. You know that on Sundays I love getting the paper, and I would love to go for a 40-mile bike ride at 5 o'clock in the morning, be home at 7, read the paper, and then you start to wake up at 7:30.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that because
well, you don't
mind
it because
morning.
you already got your workout in.
Right.
I'm always haunted then throughout the day that I have to get my workout in.
Well, that's why we worked out tonight. That's why we look so dressed up.
It was good. I know. We look so fancy, and we smell good.
Shreddy.
Okay. Last question in this paired was, according to them, how could you help your partner out in the morning? When you answered she could stop snoozing the alarm. Were you serious?
No, I was teasing you.
Oh, okay, that's what teasing. I figured.
Because do you remember the other morning?
When the alarm went off?
Yes.
And I had a heart attack?
Yes, I did too. I went sprinting in because you don't use an alarm ever.
No.
I believe we both like to wake up the same way together.
That's a horrible way to start the day.
The alarm?
Horrible, yes.
Awful.
We
like waking up to doing the same thing to one another.
I like setting the alarm because I like going to sleep and knowing that it's set so that I don't oversleep anything. Right. But it is crazy how the body can wake up just moments before that alarm goes off.
Especially when your partner
10 minutes
wakes up
before.
And is so much louder.
Well, I'm only 7 months in with having you, so I had to make do without you.
You did?
I did.
What was that?
It was not good.
It was awful. I bet.
No, I was
Sounds
setting alarms
terrible.
and shit.
You
Yeah,
must have
it
been
was bad.
sad.
So sad.
But
All
we
right.
both like to wake up to giving each other
Kisses.
bad breath kisses.
Bad breath kisses. I'm still getting used to that.
Well, I showed you that one thing from the Gottmans who said
A 6-second kiss.
And
yeah.
so we do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it smells like garlic and pizza from the night before. But I would do it every day.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, that's
So
a good
would I.
way to end, isn't it?
It is.
What else do you got?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got. How we doing time-wise?
We did great.
Look at that. 20 minutes.
Next week,
All right.
we'll
You
dive
got
in
it.
again.
Same time, same channel.
We just need it. I'm going to say it for the last time. I don't want to call it the Jack and Cathy or Cathy and Jack show. That just sounds
No, I don't
goofy.
think so. We haven't found a name yet,
We'll
but
figure
we'll
something
figure it
out.
out. That's
Okay.
right. All right.
Rock.
Peace.
Peace.